Welcome to CancerSpeak, the official podcast of Cancer, a journal of the American Cancer Society. CancerSpeak is here to bring the best of science to the broadest of the audience, offering the latest research, real-life stories, and expert perspectives from the field of oncology. Today's episode kicks off a special 4-part series featuring a virtual gathering of the American Cancer Society's National Navigation Roundtable, who came together in a Twitter space hosted by the journal Cancer in September 2022 to dive deep into the most pressing topics in patient navigation. These topics were examined in the articles published in a supplement to Cancer entitled, A Decade Later, The State of Patient Navigation in Cancer. The 13 articles are available to read for free at canceronlinejournal.com. And now, let's jump into part 1 of this thought-provoking conversation with the members of the National Navigation Roundtable Steering Committee, right here on CancerSpeak.
So on behalf of the National Navigation Roundtable, I'd like to thank the journal Cancer and our panelists for joining us today to talk about the very exciting supplement that was launched in the journal Cancer, which is an international journal with the American Cancer Society. We have a host of panelists that are going to be joining us today to talk about the state of navigation, future directions, and moreover, how do we really think about delivering equitable care throughout the cancer continuum? And again, a lot of this work is predicated off of over 2 years of work looking at the state of navigation, future directions, and really how we're advancing the cause. This is really akin to the work that we've been doing with the National Navigation Roundtable that was launched in 2017 by the American Cancer Society. So again, today we're going to talk about the current state of navigation with a special bent on the supplement, the articles, and really hear from all of you about the questions, your thoughts about how we deliver equitable care through navigation, other approaches, what should we be considering as a roundtable as we think about equitable care throughout the continuum in the cancer realm. And then really think about the future directions of the roundtable. But I'm really excited that I get a chance to moderate this as one of the chairs, one of the founding members of the National Navigation Roundtable. And I wanted to say a huge thank you to the American Cancer Society to put a lot of time, energy, and resources into the roundtable discussions, navigation, really thinking about the underpinning of the work through this supplement. And of course, Cancer for allowing these sort of opportunities through the journal for further digging into the topic as we really think about the impact of the journal as we move forward in these supplementing 13 articles. So again, I'm going to give some really time for our panelists to have an opportunity to introduce. We're going to have some targeted questions to each one of our panelists, but again, open up some opportunity for all of you as listeners to provide some comments, feedback as questions for us to explore as a panel as well. So joining us today, and I'm have each one of them specifically introduced, but we have Heather Cicerelli, Linda Fleischer, Elizabeth Franklin, Sharon Gentry, Angela Moore, Electra Pasquette. I'm going to have each one of them in that order come to the mic of sorts to share a little bit about who you are, your background in navigation, why this topic is really important to you, and anything that you'd like to mention about the supplement and the work as it flavors the work moving forward, again, as we really think of the patient front and center in delivery of care. So Heather, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to you to introduce, and then we'll go Linda and Elizabeth, and we'll continue down the order. So Heather, I'll kick it over to you.
Thank you, Andy. My name is Heather Ciccarelli. I am the director of the Patient Navigation Initiative with the American Cancer Society. I started working as a patient navigator in 2008 after finishing my master's degree in social work. My own family's experience in chronic disease was the catalyst for being a patient navigator, and knowing what support is available and knowing what questions to ask to learn about them can be very difficult. A patient navigator screens for barriers to care and helps address practical issues like transportation, lodging, and financial issues. And without the support of a patient navigator provides, health inequity will persist. I'm very honored to be part of the work the American Cancer Society and the NNRT are doing to help develop sustainable navigation models that will directly address disparities in access to quality cancer care.
Awesome. And thank you, Heather, so much for being here, and someone who's directly served in the navigator role. Your experience is invaluable. And again, a huge thank you to ACS's contribution and all of your efforts. Elizabeth, are you able to share? Elizabeth Franklin, who's part of our steering committee for the NNRT?
Sure. Thanks so much, Andy. And hi, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Franklin, and I am a social worker by training and background. I'm originally from Kentucky, which is why I'm so passionate about cancer, because in Kentucky we have some of the highest mortality, morbidity rates in cancer in the United States, and incredibly high poverty rates as well. So really seeing the health inequities that came out of a state like my home state of Kentucky, helped me to have a passion for oncology and oncology social work. I've spent 15 years in nonprofit patient advocacy organizations serving cancer patients. I have supervised a team of navigators at a cancer center. I have my doctorate in social work, and I've conducted research on navigation. And most recently, I've worked with an organization that came together called the Professional Oncology Navigation Task Force, which came together to really create a set of standards for the profession. And I'm excited to talk about that as it's a part of the supplement. And my day job, I am very happily head of patient advocacy for a pharmaceutical company now. So thanks, Andy, and I will turn it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I do really love to hear from you and Heather Elizabeth about your driving the work from your own personal experience and your own observations in the field. And great work. We're going to have Sharon Gentry and then Angelo introduce. So, Miss Sharon, I will punt to you.
Thank you, Andy. This is Sharon Gentry. I'm the current program director for the Academy of Oncology Nurse and Patient Navigators, coming to you with about 42 years of oncology experience. So I have seen a lot of changes, and the last 22 of those have been around patient navigation. Oncology has always been a love for me, but absolutely that one on one role with the patient and trying to get them the best care, no matter what they bring through the door or come through the door, has been a passion for me. So I'm going to speak a little bit later on the uniqueness of what patient navigators did during COVID, and you can see that their voices shine out and their actions shine out as they really try to meet every patient where they are to overcome a lot of the health inequities. So, thank you for allowing me to speak today.
Awesome, Sharon. Thank you so much and all of the great work. We'll have Angelo Moore and then we'll have Electra Pasquette. So, Angelo.
Yes, Andy, thank you very much for allowing me a couple of minutes to just tell everybody a little bit about who I am. My name is Angelo Moore, and currently I'm the Assistant Director for Community Outreach, Engagement, and Equity at the Duke Cancer Institute. And in that role, I have several what we call community-facing navigators, where we spend a lot of time out in the community, especially within those communities that are historically marginalized, underserved, that have high demands of health disparities. And so by training, I am a nurse by training. I've worked in multiple facets within the healthcare sector, went from, being taking care of patients on the floor to being able to take care of patients in the internal care unit, intensive care unit. And while working intensive care unit, I was like, okay, how do I prevent patients from getting in here in the first place? So then I switched my focus to primary care. So I did that for a while. I spent 25 years in the military. I joined Duke Cancer Institute about 3.5 years ago. And there I got introduced to Dr. Harold Freeman, the founder of Patient Navigation. We had a lot of conversations. I'm from New York, so we had immediate connection. But what I'm trying to do is trying to decrease the health disparities that we see in these populations. My family has been impacted greatly with cancer, and this is one way that I contribute. And is patient navigation, like you said, it's a way to look at everybody where they're located and help them in their journey of cancer. So I look forward to talking to you all more about that. Thank you.
Awesome. And Angelo, that makes me think of Dr. Freeman. I know many of us, of course, know him and thinking about the founding work, him, Linda Burhan Stipanoff, the community health worker movement. There's a lot of really strong foundations in the work. And I remember one of the first times I saw Dr. Freeman present, and he said, someone said, the father of navigation. And he says, I'm actually old enough now. I'm the grandfather of navigation, which I love. But on the flip, I think now that we're getting to this point, part of it is right. Like, we've been here long enough. Like, let's have staying power and let's sustain, especially in the communities that you mentioned when we think about equitable care. So thanks for that shout out, Angela. It almost makes me think of that conversation, the grandfather of patient navigation. So
Absolutely.
good stuff. So let's think about that and how does that continue on. So with that, I'm going to continue on to Dr. Pasquette, Electra Pasquette. I'll punt to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Andy. I'm delighted to join this esteemed group today, and I'm excited to be a part of the National Navigation Roundtable. I am a professor in the College of Medicine, as well as the Associate Director for Cancer Control Community Outreach in our Comprehensive Cancer Center, and I'm the founding director of our Center for Cancer Health Equity in the James Cancer Hospital. My academic appointment is in the College of Medicine, and my research focuses on cancer prevention and control, especially addressing health disparities in a multitude of underserved populations. Since the 1990s, my research has used community agents of change to increase the uptake of cancer screening and follow-up in underserved populations. And that led us to be one of the sites in the original patient navigation research program that was actually crafted by Dr. Freeman. And our site was actually the one funded by the American Cancer Society, and we joined with the NCI. And the PNRP, the goal of PNRP was to validate patient navigation as an intervention to enhance appropriate follow-up after an abnormal screen. We continue to use patient navigators here through the Center for Cancer Health Equity, both in our research projects and in care, both in person and telephonic, both in the community and in the clinics. And we range in the type of clinics that we work in with our navigators, from primary care to oncology. And throughout this program, I will tell you a little bit more about how our patient navigators work with the community. So thanks again, Andy.
Awesome. Thank you, Electra, for that. And I think that you really highlight a couple of different things. I think the foundation of the research that's really drove the evidence, the multitude of funders, people who've really sanctioned and thought about navigation in the delivery, and also the continuum. And I love, everyone from Sharon from the oncology treatment side, Elizabeth for the connection with social work, as well as health disparities that you've all touched on for prevention, early detection to treatment, and I know even some survivorship work. There's a lot of great examples, and really the evidence is building and very solid around the uptake of navigation and impact. And I know we're going to be addressing some of that today to talk a little bit about, now that that foundation has been built, what we're doing to really further the work. Before we delve into some one-on-one questions, though, well, I will just say a few words about Linda. So Linda is the vice chair of the National Navigation Roundtable. Really out of the Philadelphia area, been very involved in the navigation work as it relates to all things navigation, very engaged in AONN. A lot of the work around service and delivery. And I have to tell you, she's been a great support for the roundtable and thinking about different approaches to navigation.
Thank you so much. And it's such a pleasure to be here and to be with such amazing folks who are really pushing this forward. I'm Linda Fleischer. I am the vice chair of the roundtable, and I'm an associate research professor at Fox Chase Cancer Center. I've, spent really my whole career in cancer education. I started out actually running one of the regional offices of the Cancer Information Service, where in a sense we navigated patients every day, more telephonically, answering a range of questions that patients have, and just sort of what an amazing foundation to really understand and appreciate the challenges patients face. And I think the whole role of navigation to support them in that process. And I think, as Angela said, especially those who are underserved, have less resources, and really making sure that they're connected. I was part of founding a Pennsylvania navigation consortium and network, dealing with everything from urban to rural populations. And again, I think like we've all said, and I'm sure most everybody who's listening has personally been navigating family and friends throughout their careers as well. So I'm just thrilled to be here and thrilled that my mic is working.
Thank you for joining us today on CancerSpeak. We hope you've gained valuable insights and a deeper understanding of the current state of patient navigation in cancer care. This episode of CancerSpeak is brought to you by the American Cancer Society Journal's editorial team. Be sure to follow Cancer on Twitter and follow the American Cancer Society Journals on LinkedIn. Remember to subscribe to CancerSpeak so you never miss an episode, and please share this podcast with others who may find it valuable. Until next time, this is CancerSpeak, the podcast of the journal Cancer, signing off.